Hey everybody, welcome back to the War Room, and today we're going to be reviewing Tiny Epic Crimes by Gamelyn Games. I do have some experience with these games. I do have Tiny Epic Galaxies, which is a phenomenal little 4X space game. These games are really fun, and this game is also very fun. I've played this several times now. There is a solo mode, there's cooperative mode, there is competitive modes. Up to 4 people can play. And this game was about, what, 30, 40 bucks. And I got it on Kickstarter, and it came with a bunch of expansions and what have you. However, let's just talk about the actual base game. That's what I like to review the most. The expansions you could do on your own time. But basically what this is an advanced clue. Okay, there is a murderer. Okay, here's his little card. This is a suspect card, which slides in. There's one in there now. The murderer envelope is completely opaque, so you can't see who's in it. So like the Mr. Body card in Clue, there is a murderer. We know there's a murderer, we just don't know who it is. Now there is a whole lineup of possible suspects, and those suspects have usual means in which they dispatch people. Like, for example, Aaron Ace, let me clear it. He likes to use the gun, he likes to escape on motorcycles, and he'll leave fingerprints at the scene. Just a few of the different pieces of evidence that you'll gather, all right? But without any of that information, we have to go and gather it throughout the city. So in a single player game, you play as 2 members. I'm playing as a detective and a patrol cop, and so they have different abilities, and so I have to combine their abilities to solve my case. Where normally, if I was playing the standard game, you'd have all the abilities combined, okay? And then you'd be able to do everything on your own, and you'd be doing it in secret from the other players. Basically, you want to be the first person to solve the case. The case is that the mayor's son, Don Moretti, has been killed by one of those gangs that I've showed you, all right? And he's giving you, there's a time tracker here, 48 hours to solve the case. Along the way, though, there are events that are going to occur because it is a city. It's still a live city. And so these little events, while they aren't connected directly to the murder, they will affect your ability to effectively end the case, right? For example, look how far I went. I almost went to the end. And for a single player, I was losing time. That little gray gangster there marks end of time. So these events were going on. I couldn't solve them all as I went about it, and so you would start losing time. I did solve this case on a guess, which worked out, but you know that may not work out for you in the future. It is a 5x5 grid. You got little bullet tokens here, bottom and top, to show you where everything goes on the grid, because you'll be rolling your little bullet dice to show where everything goes. Gangsters are going to show up onto the board. The events might have to be put on the board somewhere, so you roll the dice to see exactly where it goes. All right. Along the way, you'll have these force cards. That's what these cards are. These little force cards are special one-time actions that you spend the card for, and then you get whatever is on the card, whatever special action. They might help you get around the board quicker or give you some special insight that you probably wouldn't get normally in the game without it. You also, as you solve things, you're going to move up your little marker, your little badge marker here, and these will give you more force cards or other special things. Plus, it's a tiebreaker if you're playing other players. So if you're like a level 4, but somebody's a level 6, and you both guess the right person, you know, then the level 6 person would win the game. Let's see here. As you're going throughout the city, you're collecting evidence. There is witnesses that will tell you what gang the person was in. Okay, so the gang, let's show you here. Whenever you get evidence, let's say a gang, let's say a witness tells you what gang it's in, excuse my hand motion, guys, here. I'm doing this by hand. Then you'll be allowed to look at what that suspect part of the gang he's in. So for example, this is a little difficult. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna put you down for just a second. Hold on. I'm sorry if I'm making you guys a little. So you have a suspect. You don't want to look at the suspect. Okay, you put them into. Let me pull you out again. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so you put the card into the top, and if I have access to the gang that the murderer was part of, I flip it over, and it shows me that's the red rhino symbol. So I know from this alone that the suspect, the murderer, is one of the red rhinos. So I no longer have to worry about the blue bees, right? But I still don't know if he is a boss or an underboss, or if he used a gun, a knife, or if he got away in a car, etc. And so as you play the game, you're going to gain access to that by going throughout the board and collecting things. Like, for example, over here, that is for stakeouts. I go there and I will perform a certain action to see if I can look under that tile. And then if I'm successful and I gather enough of those, then I'll be able to see what the getaway vehicle is, stakeouts for getaway. I did get that in my last game. So then I look under the getaway, right? The suspect cards are the little, here, let me show you one. They're these little red, they're kind of hidden, but I mean, they're not well made. So you could look at this and figure out what is there. But that little red window will show you exactly what the getaway car was. Was it a motorcycle? Was it a car? What have you? And then, of course, there's weapons. You want to go and pick up gangsters that are all throughout the city. You want to bring them back to the HQ and question them, and that'll give you a token from the HQ. If you get 3 of them onto your board, then you will now have the weapon. You'll have the weapon information. These are informants. The blue ones, there's blue ones. These are witnesses. Okay. They got nothing on the back, but they sit down here. And as long as you're on a column and you have that ability, such as the detective does, you spend time to do these things. You're spending time. Certain things like that stakeout I showed you, you're waging time. And if you're right or wrong, you'll lose that many hours that you wage, and then you just go up on the track. And if you're careless, you'll end your game very quick. So you do want to do it right. Otherwise, you'll lose pretty fast. But yeah, you'll spend time in order to solve these things and gain these things. So basically, what you're doing is you're going all around the board. You're spending time that you really don't have, in order to solve the case. And then once you get enough evidence, you can then look under all the different stuff. What gang was he in? What was he in rank? Was he a boss, underboss, forensics? Was there footprints at the scene? Was there fingerprints at the scene? And you got the weapon. Was it a knife or a gun? And then once you figure all that out and you've made it to a certain time frame, at the end, you're allowed to make an accusation. You call out the accusation, and then you either win or you don't. Now, what I like about this game is that it's very quick to. It's more quick to play than it's not quick to play. So there's a bit of a setup. The game is easy to play, and it's replayable, right? It has that replayable ability. It reminds me not only of Clue, but also Detective City of Angels. However, City of Angels is more of a storytelling game, and once you tell the story, then it goes away. Like you have to come back like after a long time to play it. To otherwise, you kind of remember all the stuff, right? This game is a very replayable game, and I enjoy this. And I love the tiny epic galaxies and the boxes are very tiny. They are. I'm a big dude, and this fits in my hand. So you can take this anywhere and set up however you want. Very easy to play. It's a little frustrating at times because every time you play, you're rolling for more gangsters to show up on the board. If too many show up on the board, you start losing time on your case. If you also have events, if you don't solve the events, they eat up time. And that's about it. That's all I've got. It's a very simple game to play. I think it's something worth looking into if you like detective stories, whodunits, and you want one that has replayability. It's not just a story. So that's all I got for you. It gets a thumbs up from me. I do enjoy it, and I can't wait to get my family to play along with me. I've just been learning it, and that's all I got. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.